Welcome back. We're continuing with talk show host Richard Bay, author of Hello, Richard, author of Don't Bet on the Prince, Dr. Gilda Carl, comedian Liz Winstead, and WABC radio talk show host Steve Malzberg. The tug of war continues over Cuban refugee Elian Gonzalez. Miami went wild this week after angry Cuban exiles took to the streets challenging the U.S. government's decision to send the 6-year-old back to communist Cuba. Authorities ruled the boy should be sent home to live with his father, but relatives of the mother, who died in the tragic boat trip from Cuba, are going to court to block Elian's departure. Question: should the United States then be invading every country that we believe has an oppressive government so we can free the kids and give them the opportunity to eat as many devil dogs with Rosie O'Donnell as their little hearts desire? Richard?
No, I think in this particular instance, he should only stay in America if they can find 2 gay parents for him.
Yes, I totally agree.
Only if Rosie can adopt him. In fact, that is the child she adopted, right?
Yeah, that's what's going to be revealed.
That'll be revealed soon.
We spoke about this in the green room, and I think I'm the only one here who feels this way. I think my personal opinion is, if you think that communism is an oppressive economic and social system that enslaves its people, if you think that Castro is a dictator, I think that it's a difficult issue because it is his father who's asking for him back. But I think if you actually believe those things, then the child should stay here. I believe that you wouldn't send a child.
So you believe that above parental rights?
No, I believe that
the authority of parents to make a decision about where their children should be.
I believe that you have to balance both things. I believe he wouldn't send a child who was brought up in Nazi Germany back to his father, who was an SS captain. We wouldn't send a child who escaped from the slave.
That is a little different.
He's a member of the Communist Party.
You know what?
He can't even leave the country to come here.
Right. Since when do we get off dictating to people what they should do with their children?
We do it all the time.
This is no.
You're right about that, Richard. We shouldn't be, but we are.
Whether we do all the time.
Hold on, one at a time, one at a time.
We don't have that right. Where do we come off doing that? Now, we were just talking about the father's rights.
I'll tell you.
This is a father.
That's
and you know,
right.
I would
This is
love
a father who has no rights.
Well,
because the father can't come to Miami to pick up his own son.
Well, you know what? Why? We have to ask that question, why?
Because Castro won't let him.
Now, if that father is really as much of a father...
We should say, you can have your son come to Miami, pick him up.
But his whole family, the family that's here, is saying he's an upright guy, he's a nice father, he's a good father. He can't help it.
The family here is saying.
Richard,
it's been reported the family here has said that.
But they want him to stay here.
Okay, Steve, shouldn't the father decide? Shouldn't it be his decision?
I think this is very tough for me to come to grips with, because I agree with a lot of things Richard said. I think it's a repressive regime. I think Castro is a terrible person, and it's a terrible country.
Bill Clinton, according to you, is the worst person
We're not a communist. We're not communist yet under Bill Clinton. However, I think father has rights, and parental rights do take precedence here.
I'm going to bring up something else. The Supreme Court is hearing a case on whether grandparents, other relatives, and even non-relatives should have the right to visit children, even if the parents don't want them to. The court will consider a Washington law that could give anyone without any real relationship with the child visitation rights. Is that in the best interest of a child?
No, it's the parents should decide, and that's it.
Here we go again, acting like Big
Brother. It's like a ridiculous waste of time.
Where do we get off doing this?
Well, this is just wasting everyone's. Like that woman who had the money deposited into her account.
Hold on. Which woman is this?
The woman who had that money deposited into her account, who thought it was just hers because she won the international lottery. Case closed. You're an idiot. You didn't win any lottery.
But you already spent half of it. You can't get it back.
But I'd like somebody to ask Hillary how she feels about this, though, because Hillary has some strange views when it comes to parenting and children and children's rights.
She wants the government deciding everything.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think that would be interesting for her to comment on.
I worry about that.
Well, this really has to do with how we define a family in America today, because if the courts are saying anybody, the next door neighbor, a friend who happened to live with you for a while, you know, anybody.
But why can't a family...
Hold on.
How much better do the courts know than the actual parents? And if we're talking about parental rights and parental guidance, where does this end?
And why is it that the court has to tell us how to raise our children?
That's what I'm
What decisions to make, who they should spend time with, what school they should go to, what medical care they should. But that is what we're living with right now.
But it's also then, and a lynch mob of, you know, Cuban expats shouldn't decide for a little boy either. His father should decide.
Richard?
That's exactly right.
We have to go to a break.
Well, I think the incident you're talking about with grandparents is this. Suppose a parent has a dispute that is unrelated to the children with a grandparent. They have a money dispute or something. Out of revenge, they use the child as a pawn again, and the grandparent says, I can't see my own child.
That is morally wrong, but should the court be imposing upon the parents?
They should not.
But they should in the situation with Elian Gonzalez.
If you believe that communism is a system that enslaves people.
Do you believe that?
Yes, I believe that.
Okay.
I believe the child should stay.
Are a man's private parts more cherished than a woman's? Function drug, Viagra, is a lot more controversial than you think. It turns out, and this is shocking, that my insurance company, and probably yours, covers the sex pill, but does not cover contraceptives or hundreds of other reproductive-related costs for women, including such things as cancer screening tests. Question, is maintaining erections more important than maintaining the health and well-being of a woman's uterus and breasts?
And the major pharmacy in the country, Kmart, which is the most available pharmacy to most Americans, is the #1 offender of this very thing, where they won't even carry some products.
Well, I'm all for keeping a woman's uterus and breasts as healthy as possible, actually.
But do you think Viagra
but what does this say?
Wait. But do you think that Viagra
I should run for office. I'm for healthy women.
You are. That's great. I really feel you love your love of women. But wait, do you think Viagra should be covered by insurance companies but not birth control?
No.
I mean, isn't that weird?
I think women, well,
do you think Viagra should be covered?
That's ridiculous.
Do you think Viagra should be covered?
I'm not sure. But not if women's
for erectile dysfunction, but not for
not
fun.
if women's health screening isn't covered by the same company. No. Birth control, I have different feelings about. But as far as women's health maintenance, if that's not covered and Viagra is, there's something wrong.
Yeah, but birth control is also used, not in addition to birth control, it is used for
a lot of
to
things.
treat all kinds of problems, reproductive
endometriosis,
that women have.
That's true.
Now, there's another thing. In England, researchers at the University of Leicester happened upon, when they were genetically engineering mice, happened upon this certain cell protein, and they noticed that a side effect was that it decreased the production of sperm, and that this could possibly lead to, at last, after how many years, a male birth control pill. God forbid. What do you think? Do you think that men would take it, Richard?
They might. They might. You know why? Because men don't like condoms.
But I think you have a bigger problem here. Not whether men will take it. Will women trust that their partners will
You know
have
what?
taken
Here's
it?
the bottom line, and I'm sort of with you at the end of the day, it's your body as a woman. If you're trusting someone to take a pill, you don't know what's going to happen. At the end of the day, you're the one that gets pregnant.
Well, that's
you're
okay
the one
by
that
you
gets
because
that.
you're for having the abortion, so that's okay by you.
Yes, I am, just all the time. I'm having one right now.
Happened this morning before she came to
You know, I have them just because I can. Sometimes I'm not even pregnant, but I go in for the procedure because it's great.
But from our talk in the green room,
Do you want a cosmopolitan or let's go have an abortion? You know what? Let's go to dinner and abortion.
As a matter of fact,
that's all I want to do.
But all kidding aside, you don't have a problem with that because then the woman could just have the abortion and that's of no consequence to you. You don't feel any remorse.
Oh, Steve, that is grossly unfair.
Not based on our conversation earlier.
Yeah, because I was saying, I don't use birth control at all. I just have abortions constantly. But that's how you're saying what I feel, and I think that.
Steve.
All right, Steve, would you take a male pill?
No.
Why not?
Because I'm a hypochondriac. I wouldn't take a pill that hasn't been studied down through the years and you see the side effects. We know that there are side effects when the female
Would you
birth
take an
control pill.
Are you married? Are you married? Does your wife practice any form of birth control? And if not now, has she ever?
Yeah, we practice a form of birth control. As a matter of fact,
and that's okay.
I had her change to what
she could be the guinea pig, but you can't.
I had her change to a safer form of birth control.
All right, we're going to have to take a break.
I practice the birth control.
All
We
right.
practice it together.
Why did Jane Fonda and Ted Turner call it quits after 8 years?